Hey Brian, how you doing?
Hey Herbert, how's it going?
I think you're back in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm back to Vancouver now, actually. Yeah, so I think more or less in the same time zone as you.
Not quite. I'm actually on the East Coast, but
Oh, okay,
close
near enough.
enough. Close enough. Considering how much we travel through the world, that's as close as it'll often be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my sense of time is still a lot to be desired.
Um, why don't you tell our readers and viewers what you actually do for the ITU?
Okay, yeah, I'm their global projects director. I've actually had a number of roles with ITU. I've been with them 10 years since May, so I've had a number of roles. I started off as their web guy, and then I kind of graduated and I started doing a lot of television work with them. So I was their director of media and television for a number of years, and recently I've taken over the role as a global projects director. So now I'm kind of working a lot on their Olympic campaign. As you probably know, we're trying to get a new discipline into the Olympic Games. That's been one of my major projects, and also been just working a lot with the World Triathlon Series, working on that and trying to push that forward, and also of course still with a lot with media and television.
So, what is since you mentioned bringing a new project to the Olympics? Where are you with that, or what's the status?
Well, we're at the sprint finish, more or less. It's going to be decided now in actually next month, in August, excuse me, in Moscow at the IOC executive board meeting. They're going to decide what, if any, sports or disciplines they're going to bring onto the Olympic program for Rio 2016. We've been working for many years now trying to get mixed relay actually into the Olympic Games. We've submitted numerous dossiers and documents, and the IOC have made some visits to some of our mixed relay races. And I'm actually just in the process of today finalising a nice electronic brochure that we're going to send off to the IOC with all our media and television statistics. And then it's a executive board decision. Hopefully they'll see Hamburg just before they make the decision, which should hopefully give us a bit of a push. And yeah, we'll know in August whether we're on the program or not. So it's tough competition. I think there's 35 disciplines have put in a request for a new discipline at the Olympic Games, and the IOC have fairly strict criteria because they're capped at the number of athletes they're allowed to have, and they're also capped on the number of medals they have. So, maybe with wrestling, making a brief exit from the program, a lot will depend maybe on what happens with that, whether they come on with the same amount of medals or not. And the good thing about our request is that we're not asking for more athletes. We're going to say we're going to use the same amount of athletes that are already there because we've been pretty much told that we can't really get any more athletes in the program for the moment. We still keep pushing, we still keep trying, but we've kind of gone with the concept that we use the same number of athletes that we have in there.
So, what is the word is how many slots are there?
The word is that there's zero slots, but we're campaigning to get in. So there's no fixed criteria. They could give all 35, or they could give zero. It depends on who you talk to. Realistically, if we got on, we'd be extremely delighted. We're pushing and pushing, but I think 3x3 basketball have a great campaign in swimming, have a number of events, cycling have a number of events. Everybody has put in for something. I think there's cycling team time trial, things like that. But we're our campaign is that we use the same venue again, so it's a reuse of the venue because triathlon's only used once. Triathlon as well doesn't have a lot of TV hours. We've got the least amount of TV hours of any sport. So obviously we're saying that look, it's in terms of fairness. I think we've got the least amount of hours. We're the youngest sport, so we're keen to grow. And obviously, I think mixed relay is a very exciting discipline for television, which is very important for Olympic Games. It's short; broadcasters can put it within an hour slot, so it makes lots of sense for broadcasters, which is important from the IOC standpoint.
Don't have to sell me on it.
Yep, I'm used to selling it, so I just have to go on with the same campaign.
So, back to your other scheduled programming or your other life or what else you're doing. Kitzbühel is coming next.
Yeah, so it's getting to the exciting time of the season. Kitzbühel, which we're all absolutely really excited about here, is coming up soon. It's something we haven't probably done in ITU since the late 80s. To really have a course like this, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be something unique, we think, in terms of something in the World Triathlon Series, and And I think seeing this caliber of athlete racing in this type of course, we haven't really seen it before. Athens was a real test of a course at the Olympics, but we haven't really seen a straight up a mountain kind of course before. So it's almost a 3,000 foot climb over 11.5 kilometers. So it's going to be a test. I think, and you're going to see it's going to be interesting to see what type of athlete, because the athletes themselves don't even know how they're going to go on it. So, people are saying, will it be a light athlete? Who knows? But there's also a climb on the run. I think there's almost a 500-foot climb on the run as well. So it's when you get off the bike, after a cycle, you're not finished yet. You still have a bit to go. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but I guess the difficulties, it's not, number one is this course will not suit every pro. So some athletes probably going to choose maybe not to race it. Some athletes will delight in this and will want to race it. But altogether, not every venue has that option to offer a challenging course.
Exactly. And especially with the concept of the World Triathlon Series, it's a catch 2020. The whole concept of the World Triathlon Series from the very beginning was to bring the world's best athletes, the world's biggest races to the center of big cities, so the mass population could see them. It was basically bringing triathlon to the masses, and that's why we also guaranteed live television from every race. We didn't say, okay, we'll do a magazine show. We said, okay, we'll spend money, and it's a lot of money, that we spend on live television. And the whole goal was to bring triathlon to a wider audience. We want the average sports fan at home, and not even necessarily maybe a sports fan, to see triathlon and to get people active and competing. Our whole goal as an international federation is to get people doing the sport. So we've invested heavily in bringing it to city centres and live on TV so people could see it. But the catch 2020 is that people generally don't build cities on mountains because it's more difficult to be like flat land. So we've had that point where the courses always can't be that challenging. We try to make them technical, but we also aren't blessed with the topography. So Kitzbühel, we just kind of decided to say, look, let's make it a mountain stage. We've been there for a few years, but we couldn't really have the rights to go up where we wanted to go. So we worked with the local city, and we worked with actually a private. It's the road we're going up is a private road, but they've given us the right of way to actually bring the race up the Alps. If we're in the Alps, we should be racing the Alps. That was our concept. So yeah, we're really excited to actually be going up a mountain.
But Kitzbühel is actually the smallest venue where the WTS series is.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, it's Kitzbühel is kind of it's still an iconic venue. It's a famous venue with the with the Honigkolm ski racing, which is obviously has its own unique history. So we're going up its sister mountain. But yeah, it is the smallest town, but it's unique, and for triathlon, it's nice. It's we're in the environment. It's nice to be in the countryside, and it's a challenge. So we've it's kind of a break from maybe the major city we're normally used to going into, but I think it's refreshing. I think for the athletes it's certainly a challenge. I think so. It's a nice bit of balance in the series.
Well, it's also very similar to Eurobike that takes place in a small city at the Lake of Constance and draws based on the general location, because you can draw in from many places, even though this place itself is small. And I think that's probably true for Kitzbühel as well. It's very centrally located, and so within 2-3 hours of driving, quite a bunch of spectators can come to that race.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very close to Munich. And the train system in Europe is absolutely amazing. I think they're blessed with an excellent public transport network, and as well, in reality, the majority of our spectators are on television. Like, our television figures this year, we've just got the first 2 reports back, have gone bananas. We had Auckland and we had Yokohama back, and our figures have already doubled from this time last year. And that's considering Auckland was a grand final last year. And even this year, because we've got a couple of new broadcast deals, we're expecting to double our figures for this year. So really, the television audience for us is hugely important to get the sport out to the masses.
Then after that, Hamburg very iconic as well. Is that maybe the race that has the most spectators?
Yeah, Hamburg is really the benchmark of what we try and model now in every city we go into. It's just, Hamburg's a great sports city to start, and obviously triathlon's been integral in their sports concept for about 10 or 12 years now. We expect over the 2 days probably about 500,000 spectators. And obviously then it's our mixed relay world championships there this year, so we're really excited to get kind of fast and furious racing on in front of huge crowds, and it's just a good party race. People enjoy themselves. They come down, they have a few beers. It's a family day out, so it's a real kind of family kind of spectacle. But yeah, it's we're really excited. Hamburg is kind of something we'd like to emulate in every city, and that's kind of what we strive to. You know, it's a big age group race. It's kind of got, I think, 11,000 age groupers now racing, and then they race alongside some of the best pro racing in the world as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, we look forward to see those next couple of races, and good luck to the ITU with getting that final event or the next event into the Olympics.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're all hoping, and it'll be good for the sport generally, we hope.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Brian.
Cool. Thanks, Herbert.